So there are a couple of things that I want to talk about in this video, but more kind of having a discussion with the people, of course, watching this video, and kind of going over a couple of things that go in my mind when I discuss these topics. Because I do feel like there are some, and it's very rare. It's like a 1 in 300, I would even say less than that ratio. But there is always an odd commenter. I know some people say just ignore it, but there's a reason why it bugs me a little bit, and I'll explain. But there's always one person that will try and sort of take what I say and try and put meaning into it that isn't there, or will try and twist words that aren't there. And it irritates me. The reason being is because in this time where it is a situation of us versus them, as far as the whole crazy situation going on, it's like every day something new is going on. It honestly feels like insanity in itself. Like, imagine saying 5 years ago that this was going to transpire. People would say we were insane. We were conspiracy theorists. But when I talk about the whole situation going on with, say, for example, YouTube and like the ID verification, I like to explain why people do things. An example would be on my anime analysis channel, and it would be one of those where it'd be like, okay, like my Dumb Archie videos. I remember one point where I was talking about Freya, and I would be going over her backstory, her motives, her drives, and why she does the things the way she does. Of course, I occasionally get one commenter that will sit there and say, you're defending what she's doing. And it's like, no, I'm explaining why she did it, her motives, her drives, what makes her tick. Understanding why someone does something is not me saying I condone it. And I have to kind of re-emphasize on that on multiple videos. And I've gotten irritated at it because I feel like at this point there are people that are being disingenuous or being stupid, which is more ironic, me using the word stupid, and I'll get into why. But I've never defended what YouTube is doing. I can understand what they're trying to do, because I can see that they're trying to get ahead of government regulations, government policies, knowing what is to come. Because YouTube clearly probably sits at the same table with a lot of these government entities, and they are having discussions with these governments saying, hey, what are you planning to do? What are your policies? Can we wiggle around that? Like, for example, when Australia was doing theirs, they were trying, YouTube was in their ear, like, oh, well, what can we work out? And the government was like, oh yeah, we'll give you an exemption. And then suddenly the government retracted that and went, nope, psych, we're not going to give you that exemption, which upset YouTube because YouTube felt betrayed. And that's kind of like, I laugh at that. I think that's hilarious in itself that YouTube got betrayed, because they're the ones that are, in a sense, betraying us, the viewers and the content creators, so that they can continue to keep their platform afloat, but we are the ones that make the platform. I can guarantee you, the moment they try to make it all mainstream media stuff, people will turn off from it. People will switch off. And so understanding what YouTube is thinking and why they're doing things the way they're doing it does not mean I condone it. And I know some people are going to say in my comments, yeah, we know that. Why are you saying this? Because there are still some people trying to frame me in a negative light, and I don't know if it's malicious intent or they are stupid, which is more ironic because the very same people that are trying to twist my words are saying that they're going to call me out when I say stupid stuff, but when I call them out for being stupid, they then go in a victim complex and say, oh my god, I'm a victim, you're being mean to me, stop saying mean words. It's like, again, if you're going to say something stupid, I'm going to call you out for it, just like you say the same thing where you say, oh, I'll call him out if he says something stupid. The irony in some of the people that are trying to turn this into some weird gotcha moment. And the reason why it irritates me is because, as I've said in previous videos, this is us versus them. The last thing we need is for people to be disingenuous in this community, trying to twist things to get your cheap gotcha because you want your couple of little bits of attention, your quick impressions, your quick a dopamine kick. Because we need to understand why they're doing this, what their plans are, how they're thinking, what their next strategy is, so that we can preemptively plan ahead to counter it. It's like collective shower. We need to understand why they're doing this and where their sort of vigilante crusade is coming from. And I think, for myself, I think I understand how they're thinking, that they are very bitter, angry. I believe, based on how they behave, they are very bitter and angry older women that are desperately trying to destroy other people's passions and joys because they've just got this sort of vigilante mindset of, well, I need to fight the good fight to give myself some purpose. It's like when you lose all meaning in life and you don't really have much going on in your life, you just sit around and watch TV and do nothing. People look for purpose. They look for a reason to give themselves meaning in life. And I think that is the case for Collective Shout. I think they're so desperate to play their own little hero complex in their head that they feel like they need to go out and destroy other people's hobbies. And I say other people's because they say they're going after evil, misogynistic men and all this other kind of stuff. And they're trying to protect women and children. But these are the same people that are attacking actual women that are criticizing them, misgendering them, trying to belittle them, insulting them, and sending some pretty derogatory, hateful people after us. People that have sat there and said that they want us murdered. Which is more ironic because those same Collective Shout people are going out there and claiming that they're being attacked. And there is some videos out there showing some evidence, and this is allegedly, that Collective Shout is faking some of the threats that they're receiving through emails, domains, fresh new accounts. And there is a lot of work going in from other content creators looking into the depth that Collective Shout is going into. So if we understand what their next game plan is, oh, they're going to do this to try and use it as a shield, we can preemptively point it out. We can preemptively look into these things and know where to go to expose them. Understanding how someone thinks and what's driving them is an important factor in understanding how we counter bad people. But I feel like that skill is being hated on and is being sort of shunned because, oh no, if we do that, you're somehow defending. It's like, no, in no way do I defend what YouTube's doing. No way do I defend Collective Shout and what they're doing. But it feels like there are people out there trying to frame that as like, oh, well, you're defending them because you're explaining why they're doing it. And it feels so annoying because I've explained in so many other videos exactly the same mindset. But every time I explain it, some dumbass in the comments goes, oh, let me take you out of context. And then when I call them out for it, they then try and have a mental spasm and go, oh, I'm a victim. Oh, it's like, then don't take what I say out of context. Because I think most people, 99% of my viewers, know that I'm not defending them. Because I'm a content creator. I don't want to be censored in any capacity. And I've complained multiple times. It'd be kind of hypocritical. Which, to be honest, there are hypocritical people out there. So, one of the things I also want to talk about is the fact that, and this is the whole thing about understanding the mindset of how people think. It's, one, I think this post is hilarious. I just wanted to point that out. Wi-Fi is now evil. Which, by the way, I want to point out the irony is, only a couple of years ago were they upgrading all those, like, 5G towers, and they were claiming that they were going to fry your brains. Now... they're like, oh, the trees. And it was just funny because all the certain individuals out there, these same groups were saying, oh no, 5G, oh no, it doesn't do that. You're all conspiracy theorists and all the rest, which I do think was a little bit insane. But I'm pointing at the irony in the situation in the UK. They were burning these towers for it. And now suddenly certain groups out there are saying, oh yeah, these Wi-Fi towers are actually bad for you. It's just kind of funny and insane how things flip-flop in the UK. But I think looking back at this from the last video, one of the things that I think people need to understand is the mindset is the more enemies you make, the harder it is for you to push. This is why their divide and conquer has kind of been thrown out the window. They're no longer trying to divide and conquer. They're just trying to conquer everything in all in one go, and they're upsetting a lot of people. But I also think it's at the point where they've tried to salami slice their way through, where they've got not much left to do other than try and take mass amounts of freedom away from us. And now that they're trying to impede on American companies, which, by the way, there are actually people defending the UK for this, saying that, well, the site works in the UK, so it should have to follow UK laws. And it's like, again, it is an American company. UK can ban it at any point in time if they deem it if it's not following the rules. But rather than, because they know what's happening here, they know that certain American companies are going to give them the middle finger. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to think of a strategy of going, well, we know they're not going to follow it because they live in the US or they're stationed in the US. So we'll try and pressure them through legal actions. But it's not going to work because, again, it impedes on Americans' free speech, which is kind of our last bastion of, like, stronghold there, which is why it's important that we call out all these politicians that are trying to push their own version of this as well, which is why I said what I said with YouTube is doing this, because they know that there are politicians trying to push this. So private companies are sort of preemptively doing it ahead of time. There was a video that I was talking about where I went over a certain game. I know I can't say the game. 1 + 1 = 2. Put it together in your head. But a certain game, and people that are pushing the ID system are a part of a board, and there are certain groups in there like Microsoft, Google, Discord, those games, like even the consoles, they're all on that board. And so it's one of those where you know that they're all on the same board, they're all on the same page, and they're like, oh yes, let's do this. So it makes sense that, yeah, YouTube is going to follow the wishes of the board and try and push this through. Is it a good thing? No. Is it going to probably backfire on them? Probably. We have to see how things play. Again, there are a lot of people out there that are more than happy to have these ID verification systems and to give up freedom, all in the fake pursuit of protecting children. That's the concern. So, like I said, as much as there's going to be some resistance, there are going to be those that are defending it, which there are. There are some defending it saying, well, it works in the UK, but it's like, again, the UK can block 4chan if they desire. And the fact that they've now riled up a website like this website is notoriously known for trolling. They are very much, these aren't stupid, these are intelligent trolls. Let's say that. And it's probably the worst enemy for the UK government to go after, because to be honest, the UK government are not very smart people. The people running that country are not smart people. So seeing how this is going to turn into complete chaos is going to be hilarious to see play out. And I think there's going to be more situations where the UK government is going to try and clamp down on certain websites. And I think the more they keep trying to pick at this, the more they're going to rile up more enemies. And I do wonder if the United States government is going to step in and say, hey, you are impeding on our free speech, our rights, our companies. And that is, you know, going to rile up more tensions between the two governments. The thing is there are certain people in both parties that want types of ID verification laws. So we've got to be very vigilant in calling that stuff out. So, yeah. I might do a video at some point going over Australian censorship and how certain things have been banned over a period of time. Because there's a lot of discussions going on about how Australia has banned certain things. And there's some interesting context to give there and the stupidity in itself. So I might do a video at some point going over that. But again, I want to be very clear. I am not defending any of this. I don't know why I have to say this. It's so stupid that I have to say it. But there are some people, and I know it's only a handful, but it's those one out of several hundred that will then rile up audiences that don't watch the videos properly, that will go into the comments and be like, oh, so he's saying that, and they won't listen to the context, because some people don't watch videos. They go to the comments, and then they read the comments, and they go, oh, so this person said that. Well, it must be true, even though it's made up. That's why I have to call these things out, because it is important that we stay focused on the goal. We stay focused, because this isn't just going to impact our normal day-to-day freedom. This will, in fact, gaming, anime, music, YouTube, everything. So we need to stay vigilant on that. So again, love no thoughts in the comment section down below. If you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful nerds in the next video. Remember, leave a like and comment.